Hey y'all, it's me. So this morning I had something happen that had me so upset, and at the same time not upset like I'm going to sit here and cry about it upset, but just so frustrated. I had to have a um a pelvic ultrasound done because I'm having a lot of pain in my right ovary area, and it happens during ovulation, so I'm pretty sure it's my ovary. Um and it's every month. So it's been a problem for about a year now, and we've pushed off the ultrasound, because I had it scheduled a couple months ago when I got sick with like this virus and never really found out, what it was. Probably just, a virus, but I was like, I'm not taking that in, to the hospital because if it is, the cootie, I'm just going to keep it to myself. And then I forgot to reschedule the ultrasound. And then this month, I've been in a lot of pain, like a lot of pain. Past few days, I'm just like constantly just uncomfortable and sometimes just really hurting. And I'm like, okay. So I called yesterday and they were able to get me in today. I was so excited. So I go in, they do this ultrasound, and the ultrasound for this is both external and internal. So, they push around on the outside with the ultrasound wand and the gel, and then they also have a wand version that they have to insert into my vagina. I knew this was coming. I had it explained before. It's not painful by any means. It's just, awkward. And it's like, okay, it's not as bad as like a pap smear can be awkward. So I was like, all right, I can work through this. It wasn't fun though. I mean, the tech was nothing but professional and sweet and kind and whatever. But I left and I was like, okay, well, she said that the reading should be put in my chart soon, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the rest of my day because this week I'm not working because of a technical thing with my renewal for my work badge. So I'm like really frustrated. Last thing I needed was a week without work. And so I'm like, all right, what am I going to do today? I have a whole day to do whatever. What am I going to do? And I got my reading as I'm sitting there on the garage roof. And it said that they could not see my ovary, either of them, left or right. They could see other things, couldn't see my ovaries. The whole reason I had a wand shoved up my vajayjay. Now, this most likely is not the tech's fault. Most likely what the issue is, because this has happened to me multiple times now, is that I have so much fatty tissue in the way that the ultrasound, with the ultrasound works with the radio waves and stuff, could not get through to the organ it was trying to see. This has happened abdominally twice, and during my stress test, the CT couldn't get through to see everything it needed to see for my heart. Oh, and then I had a heart ultrasound too. So yeah, that none of it could see what it needed to see. Ultrasounds are the worst for it. CT was I was a little surprised. It was I could see most of everything with CT. There was just some area that they couldn't. Um, so yeah, this is something that we don't talk about, and we should. That when we get to be this obese and we have this much fat and adipose, which is like the hard fatty tissue that you've been fat for so long it's up around your organs and stuff, and it takes so much to get rid of. Um, there's so much of all of that in the way that these tests that we take for granted are going to be there for us aren't functional. They just aren't, and it's really disheartening and it's depressing, and especially when I've worked so hard to lose the weight that I have, and I was just so upset and just kind of gut kicked. I mean, really, it was like being gut kicked because I was in a lot of gut pain. Well, lower than gut pain, but it's like my lower belly. And I was just like, gosh, really? Are you serious? I emailed my gynecologist and asked what the next step was, and I was like, I'm trying to lose weight, but that's not going to happen overnight. So, what's my next option? And I haven't got anything back yet. Because it usually takes, 48 hours for those messages. And it's not like I'm, rushing to have somebody like get in and cut me open or anything. But really, there's not always another way to visualize things. Ultrasound is usually the safest. You can have CTs and MRIs done, but depending on how much, how much pain you're in, whether or not that's worth it to you it's variable. But we don't talk about this. When we talk about weight loss, especially at a young age where my runaway train, started down the track, we talk about physical appearance. We talk about the need to change how we look. And we think that because with kids, this is what's so important, that this is where we should start, because kids understand that. The reason why they understand that is because people are cruel to them about how they look. Because they're seeing it demonstrated with, people they know, whether it's adults, other kids, where they're talking about, that fat chick, or, to put it nicely. And fat is constantly used as an insult. And I've been thinking about this all day. And I've been struggling with, how do we talk to people about weight loss without talking about appearance and have it mean something to them? Because for so many people, their appearance is the number one reason why they want to lose weight. And I mean, that's fair, because society, especially US society, judges us so hard on what we look like. And that includes our weight. It's one thing when I have, a physician who's speaking to me diminutively because I weigh so much, because they see me as irresponsible and unintelligent, uneducated, because I have done this to myself. And, they oftentimes in my case find out that they need to stop. I am not very shy about this, at all. So, big surprise, right? But I thankfully, my PCP, like, he specializes in bariatrician kind of stuff, and so, like, he's never spoken to me that way, but I have other physicians that have, and I'm like, wait a minute, you need to stop. Like, you need to stop right now. I'm well aware of my weight, and at this point now, I've lost almost 90 pounds. I'm like, y'all need to stop. It's just really frustrating. So, we need to stop having those kinds of conversations where, they're accusatory, they're diminutive, they're disrespectful, they're based on appearances, and we need to start having them based on health. And we need to stop having them based on just weight loss. Especially with a child, if somebody is gaining weight to the point that you're concerned about them, then something else is going on. It just is, If somebody they're like, oh yeah, I just love food. I'm like, okay, that's great. Well, let's talk about, what you've been eating, and, start talking about the situations around what you've been eating. And, oh, you're having Velveeta mac and cheese every night. Like, okay, great. Are you having anything with it? Is mom cooking it? No, I'm cooking it. Mom's got to work or something. You start unraveling the story, because I can tell you that almost probably 99% of kids out there who start on the runaway train that I start on will tell you that these are, the factors around my weight, that there's a reason why I'm gaining it. And they'll also tell you that, if they wanted to lose weight, it would have to be because they feel like they need to fix their appearance. We do a really bad job with with the physical appearance thing. Like, I can't emphasize this enough. Like, fat is ugly in America. And how many of us are fat is ugly to most of the rest of the world, because it's seen as gluttony. It's seen as laziness. And for a good portion of us, that's not the case. There's reasons where everything started. And then as an adult, when you're looking at this, you're like, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna have a heart attack, That's pretty much what, I see people shrug off, like, yeah, whatever. Or they'll get really defensive, if somebody like is genuinely trying to talk to them about their weight and their argument is, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful. I have a problem with the fat positivity movement, and I'm not going to be shy about that. Like, I don't have a problem with you being beautiful. I have a problem with the self-harm that you perpetuate by continuing to weigh as much as you do. Like, that's not the same thing. If you truly loved yourself, you would start doing something to take care of yourself. Like, that's just the truth of it. And not all of us are going to be skinny people. It's just not. I'm not talking about people who are like, a woman that's 200 pounds that, actually eats right, works out occasionally and, walks frequently or whatever. Like, that's one thing. But when you have, like, folks that are my size, 350 pounds, and all they're saying is, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful. It's not about being beautiful, honey. It's about being healthy. And I know some people are like, oh, well, physicians are just, this isn't physicians. I'm not a doctor. And, after my conversation yesterday, y'all know I'm not going to be. But it's self-harm. It is self-harm to continue to eat in a way that is going to prevent you from having appropriate diagnostic testing, that's going to ruin your joints, that is going to cause incredible hormone imbalances, that can, keep you from becoming pregnant, and, can render you infertile, can completely destroy your sex drive, that can cause all sorts of issues with your heart and your blood pressure. And yes, this is not healthy. This is not safe. And it doesn't have a damn thing to do with what you look like. And you are beautiful. You're just also unhealthy. And I can't get over the fact that people are not willing to see that. People are not willing to, see that weight is so much more than what a person looks like. Yeah, our society is really shitty, especially in the media, about boiling it down to appearance. It has nothing to do with that. Just because people are assholes and they're like, oh, well, you've put your body in this state and I can't sexualize you like that because I don't find you attractive, so I think you should lose weight so I can sexualize you again, even though I'm not going to want to do anything with you. Like, that's a lot of what society's breakdown really is when it comes to people losing weight. That's what it is. And it just really sickens me. So I think we need to start very young about changing language and changing conversation before runaway trains like mine happen. And then as adults, we need to change the focus. We need to change the focus. We need to give specifics. And I'm here to tell you that I can't have my ovaries looked at without probably surgical intervention because I'm so fat. I could have cysts in there, I could have all sorts of stuff going on, but I can't have them looked at in one of the most basic ways that we can diagnose things. It's an ultrasound, and I can't have it. I cannot successfully have it. If I were to get pregnant right now, I have so much belly, an ultrasound may not be able to visualize my child. And what kind of life is that? I can't have my heart fully looked at. I'm in stomach pain all the time. And they're going to have to stick a scope down my throat because an ultrasound isn't going to see it all. It's not a way to live. My joints hurt constantly. I just woke up yesterday in pain. I take the dog down the 4 steps from the front porch to put him down there because he's a dachshund and we have narrow steps. They're not supposed to go down there with their long spine. He can come up just fine, but going down is not good. So I carry him down the steps. Walking the 4 steps and then up onto the porch, so I guess 5 steps. My legs go weak. And I feel like I'm going to pass out. And I can't breathe. And this has been getting progressively worse because my weight, my body is having an immune response because of my weight, and it's causing inflammation to my heart. This is the reality of what weight does to you. I'm having horrible hormone fluxes as I lose the weight because I have so much, fat being burned that estrogen is stored in. That's, messing with my menstrual cycle. And my menstrual cycle's not always regular anyway because of my weight, and I could have PCOS right now, and I'm not gonna know because I can't have my ovaries visualized on an ultrasound. I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of being scared. And people don't talk about that. They don't talk about how scared they are. That they're gonna die. That they're gonna be, rendered permanently disabled. That in 20 years they're not gonna be able to walk. Don't talk about it. But when we don't talk about it, we don't do anything about it. And that only makes it come to life. So no, I don't want to die. I don't want to continue living this life where I can't fit into clothes at the grocery store or at the clothing stores, and I can't take my dog down the 4 steps from the house, and I can't fit into the seatbelt in my car without a seatbelt extender. Okay, that's one I don't think we've talked about. I have so many things physically that just are falling apart, and it's terrifying. But yeah, let me worry about what I look like, because I'm gonna need to make sure I look bomb ass beautiful in my coffin. All right. Good night, y'all.